Where to buy MOTS-c. MOTS-c can be purchased from a variety of places, but at East West Health, we have prized ourselves on the ability to only source MOTS-c through compounding pharmacies. Now, these are licensed pharmacies that have the 503A or 503B compounding status, and we've done that for a reason. So in this video, I'm going to explain exactly why it's important to know where you're sourcing it from, and then we'll also talk about how to use it. And then if you stick around to the end, I've got a bonus where I'm going to show you where to source MOTS-c from, and I'll show you our vetted suppliers, and then I'll give you some instructions on how you can best utilize this great peptide. So at East West Health, if you look at the compounding pharmacy world, these compounding pharmacies have very tight guidelines, and they have inspections, not only from the FDA, but also from the state facilities. And when they're licensed, that means they have to adhere to these strict standards. So one of the things that I've noticed in peptide manufacturing is that there are a lot of great peptide manufacturing options out there, and these peptides come with a disclaimer that this is for research use only. Now, the reason why they say that is because while some of the raw materials and these protein structures are very similar to what's compounded, the issue is the sterilization process. There's an additional sterilization process that occurs when you have these peptides through these 503A or 503B licensed pharmacies. And the benefit of MOTS-c is it's one of the most powerful peptides to help protect your immune system. It helps build muscle mass. It's a myostatin inhibitor. And it's also a mitochondrial peptide. So it's going right into the nucleus of the cell and turning on genes so that you have this better expression of ATP and AMPK. And it also is a sirtuin activator. So you're getting all this DNA cleaning. And so there's no reason why you'd want to use such a powerful peptide that's not in the cleanest, purest source possible. Now, I know there's a lot of great companies out there, and they do follow the GMP process. They have these good manufacturing products, but the issue is it's not through the licensed facilities, then you may be putting yourself at risk. The other issue with peptides is if you don't have your labs ran, you're going to find that the results may not be what you want them to be, and you may be using this peptide at the wrong time, especially if your blood sugar is completely dysregulated. You may actually make things worse. We've seen clients who have used too high of levels and they've created an immunogenic response where the body just rejects this peptide. I've also seen clients who have used this incorrectly and they've created an insomniac tendency because MOTS-c does increase your energy. What's the best way of doing it? Well, if you go to agelessfuture.com, we've got a link there, and what we want to do is have you meet with one of our team members. And what my team can do is help you determine what testing that you have that we could use, and also help you identify what labs that you need ran. And we do comprehensive functional blood chemistry on every client that we work with. And then that way, our providers can properly prescribe these peptides in a way that will lead to the least amount of harm and do the most amount of good, and that's the goal. And so many of you, as you're like me, you probably got into peptides and you didn't know where to source them and were confused. That was me over a decade ago. And I was fortunate enough to meet Kent Holtorf and to study with Dr. William Seeds and to be a part of some of these peptide societies later on, but it was, years before they came online. So it was mostly just reading on the web and trying to figure it out on my own. And it wasn't until I started meeting with some of these pharmacists and I asked them if they could make MOTS-c for us. And over a decade ago, a lot of them said no. And it wasn't until I met this great pharmacist, Mike Caruso, and what he said is, I love MOTS-c. And I would love to bring that in. And so we helped supply the supply chain so that we could actually get enough MOTS-c and serve our clients with it. I tried it on myself for about 6 months before we ever gave it to anybody else. But what I noticed was just such a dramatic difference from the MOTS-c that was made from the compounding pharmacy versus me just trying to guess with some of the research peptides, that came as the powder, and I'm trying to get the right dosing. I just found that I didn't quite have the certainty behind it. And I don't believe that it did much good. And a lot of people, I know a lot of you are saying, oh, but it's so expensive. If you get it through a prescribing clinic or a prescribing physician, Isn't there another way, Regan? Well, there is, but at East West Health, we've made it as easy as possible for you to enter into some of our membership option called the Pathfinder. And this Pathfinder method allows you to access the peptides you want with medical supervision. And we actually build the protocol for you, but you can choose what part of the protocol makes the most sense for you and your budget. And we've made that very affordable. We've also have other options, which, we have our first class option, and that's the option where, we go deep and we do all the diagnostics, we include regenerative medicine, and then we have our middle tier, which is what we call the co-pilot. For those of you who are really optimized and want to go to the next level, but you do want some guidance, you want some accountability, you want to work with our fitness team, our nutritional team, we have a program for you as well. But what we've learned in listening to thousands of our clients, we recognize that you want to be able to purchase the peptides once you've learned about them, you feel like it's best for you, but you also want to do it in a safe way. And that's where once we run your labs, we can sign off and say, yep, this peptide, this one, and this one are going to be great for you. We'll have safeguards in there so you're not stacking the wrong peptides and kind of over-expressing certain pathways. And then we'll also give you insights in our membership model where you can actually know what molecules and what herbs and what supplements to use when you're using MOTS-c. We'll explain how agents like urolithin A, how you can use methylene blue when it comes to expressing more MOTS-c, and how you use sauna and exercise in conjunction, and especially on the days that you're using MOTS-c, where you want to push your body a little bit harder. And then we'll show you how you can recover by using BPC, thymosin beta-4, and then using some of these growth hormone releasing peptides. So the real risk that people have is if you're not using peptides, if you're purchasing them from the places that's the lowest price, and especially if the only way you can buy it is through Bitcoin or some kind of cryptocurrency, there may be some issues with it. And I'm not saying that all of these research use peptides are bad by any means. I am saying that there's a smart way of doing it and a safer way of doing it when you can work with these facilities that are licensed. They're using compounded peptides from pharmacies that are reputable. And for those of you who want to go deeper and figure out, okay, is MOTS-c great for me? Where can I buy it from? We vetted out the best pharmacies in the United States, and we've got 2 sources. And so based on what state you live in, we'll see where the licensing matches up, and then we can get this peptide for you. All you need to do is go to agelessfuture.com, fill out the form, and then my team will help you get connected with one of our medical providers so that we can get it done for you safely and effectively. And you'll notice a much bigger difference on this versus just trying to do it on your own. And so for those of you who love this video on MOTS-c, I've got another video that explains all the cool things, like all the pathways it works on and how you can activate your energy systems. Just click on the link below. I'm Regan Archibald, and I'll see you on the next video.